It's Nolan. Turn down my phone for some peace of mind. I just need some time for me and mine. Seem like all I do is hit the street and grind. Dollar after dollar facing scrutiny. Just got this LSC. This music shit ain't what it used to be. I thought it was a dream. Had a vision for my team. Wrote the movie picture perfect. Now they got me cutting scenes. Plus my girl, she want a ring. I can't lie, man, she deserve it. From the lions to the lamb, she held me down while facing serpents. It get deeper than the surface. Down the stress, but weighing deep. Gotta switch up on my sheet, cause I've been sweating in my sleep. Know my karma gon' be sweet. Reading comments, clear my conscience to the beast. They say I'm soaring with our reach, so now them commas come in peace. Hey. Lot of broken promises I've been waiting on. Lot of y'all been hating, but that's the way it go. People I used to run with trying to play me. No matter what they do, can't let them change me, no. Lot of broken promises I've been waiting on. Lot of y'all been hating, but that's the way it go. Women I used to love them try to play me. No matter what they do, can't let them change me, no. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everyone is doing well today. That song we just played on the intro was called Broken Promises. It is from the Southside Nolan album. Once again, if you want to get your copy of Southside Nolan, you can get it at realjnolan.com. You can get the digital download on there, or you can get your physical copy of the CD on there as well. Everybody that ordered your CDs, they will be to you very shortly. All right, should be on the way for you. All right, so Nicki Minaj has been a hot topic recently, ever since this whole Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar, Super Bowl, Jay-Z thing took off. Nicki Minaj has been very active on social media. She put her 2 cents in about Lil Wayne not being selected, and it ended up opening up another can of worms with her issues between Jay-Z, Tidal, Roc Nation, etc. Okay. Now, somebody who's had a great relationship with Jay-Z over the years is one Steve Stoute. Steve Stoute is a music executive. He goes all the way back to the 90s. He was with, the Track Masters, Columbia Records, and all of that, Tone and Polk. They did a lot of work on different people's albums. And he built his career from there. He ended up working with Jay-Z, Diddy, all those people. Whoa, Diddy, oh. But nonetheless, him and Jay have remained tight. At a certain point, he got out of the traditional record business and became like a branding liaison for artists in music to get their music, or take their careers rather, into the advertising space. We saw this with Jay-Z when it came time for the Kingdom Come album, and he did like that Budweiser ad with Show Me What You Got, and et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? For those that were around and were alive to see these things happen, Steve Stoute was around for a lot of this stuff. He ended up writing a book talking about the cross-pollination between hip-hop and entertainment, advertising, and all this different stuff. He's now an executive over at United Masters, which is an independent distribution music company, self-serve, and you could get your music placed in TV and film through his resource, right? Just giving you a quick little refresher course on what we have going on, the players that are in the conversation, and how we're getting to this space. Now, with Nicki Minaj coming out and voicing her issues with Tidal, apparently Steve Stoute was working with Jay-Z to get Tidal off the ground. So he came out and did an interview with The Pivot, basically taking up for his dear friend Hove, and making reference to Nicki Minaj perhaps not signing paperwork that would have given her the opportunity to make the money that she was expecting off of the Tidal deal. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and play audio, because y'all know how it goes with these big podcasts. They do content claim the video, so we'll play audio of Steve Stoute talking about this and try to get a little bit more understanding as to what happened, why Nicki was never paid, and why still in 2024 this is even a conversation when all of this stuff happened so many years ago. And we're going to get into Nicki Minaj's response, because she came back today to fire back, and she didn't hold, I ain't going to say she didn't hold her tongue, but she didn't hold her Twitter fingers. All right. Now, I want to go ahead and preface this, because we got a lot of people in their feelings yesterday about Nicki Minaj. And I want to just say, for everybody out there, my opinion about Nicki Minaj and her activity, whatever she has going on, it should not offend you. It should not take anything away from your fanhood, your support whatever money you put into her pocket by buying her albums, going to her concerts, being a dedicated person. At this point, I've been making content about Nicki for a while now. I tell y'all what I like about her. I tell y'all when I disagree. I tell y'all when I do agree. I agree that if she signed paperwork and she was supposed to be one of the owners over at Tidal and she never got paid off it, I completely agree that she should have gotten her money. If that is still remaining delinquent to this day, I do think she deserves her money. That doesn't, I don't, come on. Okay? And for anybody out there that feels like, hey, J Nolan, why do you be explaining yourself when it comes to Nicki? It's not about explaining myself. It's the fact that this is one person who just creates a lot of conversation, a lot of negativity in the comments for people that go to bat for her. So this is my opportunity to talk to those people because I'm not going to answer everybody in the comments. So just be aware of that. I don't want y'all coming in here and being like, I don't know why, like, let it go. Okay. If you agree with what I'm saying, just agree. If you disagree, it's cool to disagree too. You know what I mean? But with the responsibility of this channel and myself as a voice, I do want to be heard and I want to be understood. And I don't want anyone to feel like I'm spewing hatred because that's not the objective of this channel. I just want to make all of that extremely clear. Okay. Now let's get into Steve Stoute's statements. Again, he was at the pivot and this came up in conversation regarding the NFL, Super Bowl, all this other stuff. Okay.
The Super Bowl thing, I want to get back to that for a second, man. I'm not here to defend anybody. I really don't like when people who open up doors as black people get shitted on publicly like that. I just don't like it. I think in that case, what Nicki did was wrong. To bring up Tidal, his streaming company, that he gave you equity in, that you didn't sign the fucking paperwork, and that's the reason why you left millions of dollars on the table. That man didn't do nothing to you. To be talking about somebody who's putting, whether it be Kendrick or Wayne or Drake or Usher, he's putting them on the biggest stage. That's what we should be applauding. That's growth.
All right, so that's part one of his statement. And there's more to it.
That's growth. But the crabs in the barrel thing, oh, not him, fuck him, da 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 da. We can't do that. That's black on black crime. I don't like that. And maybe that's what it is. I think Nicki's great. I'm great artist. Very successful career. Don't do that. Just like, let's not do that in private. This social media thing where you start shooting at people like that, like, and not like a jab. I'm talking about like, fuck him and this and that's a little too much. I just think that's a little too much.
All right, so that's Steve Stoute trying to reason with Nicki and basically say, hey, you didn't sign the paperwork, which would have entitled you to millions. You left it on the table. He says, I don't like the fact that you're basically taking down another black person that's opening opportunities because if, to be real, Super Bowl did not have the caliber of artists that we're getting in these last few before we got Jay-Z and Rock Nation involved, right? So he's basically saying that we're bringing hip-hop artists who were classically isolated from Super Bowl festivities, opening these opportunities, and you're basically shitting on a moment and using your personal gripe that has nothing to do with the situation as a reason to call out Jay-Z. And there's plenty of people that echoed this feeling. I kind of felt that way as well. But I will say Nicki has been vocal about her discrepancies with Jay-Z, Rock Nation, etc. So it's not like this is a one-time thing. This is something that she's been harping on for a while. She never really came out and just gave us like a dedicated moment to say, this is why I'm mad. This is why things didn't happen. She speaks very cryptically. She speaks in code language. And to that, I feel like it works to her detriment, because when you're seeking understanding, which is why I do what I do when I talk in these videos and I explain things, is because if I want to be understood, I have to speak in a language in which people can understand, right? But for Nicki, a lot of times she speaks in fragment, she speaks in code, she speaks in, you know what I'm saying? And all of these different things, she's going to take you from I-95 to 285 to 85 South, when really we could have just went straight to Kroger. You know what I mean? And some people not going to like that or agree, but who gives a fuck? Like, we got to be honest about this thing. And I'm not speaking against her. I'm just saying, be direct. So Nicki comes out and says, and I like the fact that she's getting to the subject matter at hand rather than going around the world. She says, I received a call advising Tidal was sold and they made no money on the deal. So all they could offer me was $1 million. But wait, there's more. So there is some admission from her part that there was at least $1 million on the table. Okay. The lawyer advised that Desiree advised him that I had to sign the agreement in 24 hours if I wanted the $1 million, or the offer was off the table. She said, listen to the end of fractions for what my response was. Once again, at the end of this, we're getting a misdirection, right? So I went and listened to the end of fractions to refresh my memory on this. And at the end of the song, she says, counting $1 million, jigga what, jigga who. So I guess at the time when she released this record, she was basically trying to put the dog whistle out there that Jigga only offered her $1 million for her contribution to promoting Tidal, for her contribution of adding content to Tidal and being one of those early adopters and investors and being a part of all of the press releases and stuff that ended up helping Tidal build itself. And she felt clearly that $1 million offer was an insult. Okay? So that's where we at with it. She says, so Barbs, thank you for supporting something I was a part of. I love you, but I was scammed and offered $1 million to be silenced. I declined. The grace of God is sufficient. I didn't need their hush money. Gag City, Los Angeles tonight and tomorrow night, my documentary. Let me go see if there's anything else, because she talks about a documentary, but I got to go through all the tweets to see where all of this is leading. So let me start from scratch here. At Steve Stoute, she says, I love knowing you're always thinking about me. I'm such a tease. The morning of every show you pop up trying to taste my coochie, but no, you may not ugly. She says, I run the internet. Gag City, Los Angeles tonight and tomorrow night. Choose wisely. Okay, she goes on to promote the tour, which, do your thing, man. Let's see. She says, my documentary was also... Oh, I thought she was really going somewhere with that. I guess I got to go to another tweet. What the hell? My documentary was also... Was it supposed to come out on Tidal? Because she didn't finish the statement. She said, my documentary was also... Then she put the ellipses like there was something to follow, and it never followed. So I'm guessing, and this may be my fault for guessing, but I'm guessing it was originally supposed to come out via Tidal, because they were doing exclusive content with artists. They were doing documentary style projects and things of that nature, and behind the scenes work with the artists. But I don't see a direct statement finishing that to what happened with the documentary. She comes back. One of her fans comes out and tweets out TSR business. This is a post from the Shade Room that said all co-owners of Tidal reportedly receive $8.9 million payout following Jay-Z's recent deal. Beyonce, Kanye West, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, and more included. We talked about this last week. It was supposed to be a $308 million deal. Each of these artists were supposed to have a 3% stake in it, which would have entitled them to $9 million apiece. We talked about that. However, that was not the case, right? She says instead of giving her the $9 million that she was owed, they offered her $1 million. She declined, I guess, because she didn't sign whatever paperwork was offered to her. Okay? Nicki Minaj follows that retweet up with saying, LOL, word. One of the blogs that they reportedly have lots of control of. So she's insinuating that Roc Nation has a considerable influence over the Shade Room. Now that I don't necessarily agree with. I think the Shade Room does a pretty good job of promoting Nicki Minaj. And I'll just leave it there, right? But whatever. She says, why is my photo there? Oh, reportedly. What you mean, why is your photo there? You're one of the artists. They got Beyonce, they got Kanye, they got Rihanna, they got you. You were one of the artists. What you mean? But it seems that she's been very vigilant about the usage of her photos. So maybe she didn't want to be included with her image and likeness. And that's her prerogative if she feels that way. I think she's entitled to not want some blog spreading out her image and likeness if that's not what she wants. But I think the artists all benefit from this because so many people receive their news updates and information from the Shade Room on a daily basis, multiple times per day. I think it's funny when artists call out these platforms, not to say that you shouldn't, but I just find it funny that they enjoy the fruits of the promotion when it adds to their pockets. But then there's another side to it where maybe they're not promoting you. Maybe they're putting out something that is inaccurate or maybe something that just doesn't put you in the best light. Then you're angry. You know what I mean? It's the two-sided coin. She says, reportedly, huh? LOL. I'm really laughing at how people who aren't really smart always believe they are outsmarting smart people. No, it's just that we know karma spins. It really spins. So this is Nicki's response. Let's see what else she says. She says, every day, a new man pushing 60 years of age gets fingered in the bussy. Very flagrant. Then made to come on this internet and lie on me. So she's basically saying that Steve Stoute is a puppet. She's saying that Steve Stoute got fingered in his bussy and made to come onto the internet to come defend Jay-Z. And she's basically saying that all of these guys who have been mentioning her are being done so through Jay-Z, right? Elliott Wilson and his assessment of how she's been handling her business, etc. She feels that he's, she already talked about his age. She talked about everything about him, right? She's talked about Hove. Now she's saying the same thing about Steve Stoute, saying he's nearly 60 years old and he's, essentially, this is kind of homoeroticism reference for real. And basically saying that they're being used to come lie on her. She says, God is in control. Bookmark this. I'd advise y'all to never mention my name again. Okay? Basically saying anybody on that side, Jay-Z, Steve Stoute, Elliott Wilson, etc. Please don't talk to her or mention her, right? So then we have a Drake stan, a well-known Drake stan on Twitter by the name of Aubrey's Attorney that says, you see how these people lie. Less than a week ago, Cameron and Mace told us that Jay-Z was lying about them not signing paperwork. Then yesterday, Jay sent his mouthpiece, Steve Stoute, to claim Nicki didn't sign the paperwork. Come on, man. I don't think Jay-Z's sending nobody out to do nothing. In this particular instance, I don't think Steve Stoute was sent out by Jay-Z to go do nothing. I think Steve Stoute, he has a press run every year. He goes on anywhere between 3 to 5 platforms every year to talk about his involvement in the business, his business ventures, and also promote his product, which is United Masters. If you watch The Pivot, you see he's wearing a hoodie promoting his company, United Masters. I do not believe Jay-Z called him on the phone and said, yo, go to The Pivot and redeem my name for public opinion. I do not believe that. He went on his own, and based on how he perceived the actions that are happening. And the pivot is, if you know anything about the podcast space, the Pivot is a show that was started by former NFL players. So of course they're going to ask somebody who has relationship with Jay-Z, who has relationship to the entertainment business, advertising, and big money plays in this industry. They're going to ask him his opinion about what just recently happened with the NFL and the Super Bowl decision. I do not think Jay-Z is in his ear saying, nigga, you better go make this right. No. Now, whatever Steve Stoute's mission was when he went up there and said it and tried to clear up the situation, I think that was his decision. He felt like doing that. And you can criticize him on that. But to put that extra hot sauce on a well-seasoned plate, you don't always got to do that. She says, first time hearing about this, all allegedly though, right? She says, they got to keep the conversation on me so that no one asks about these charges against their BFF. So now, here we are. She's alleging. Y'all know everything that Diddy's going through. She's alleging that Jay-Z and Diddy are BFFs. And in order to dodge any questions or accountability involvement with what he's got going on, she's saying that they're sending people out to speak on her, to manipulate the conversation. I just don't be believing this stuff. It's not that I dislike her. I don't give a fuck if it came from Nicki Minaj. I don't give a fuck if it came from Azealia Banks. I don't give a fuck if it came from Beyonce herself. I just don't believe that's the play. You know what I'm saying? But she's got more. She says, I mean, it seems the 30-year-old T here is far from stale. Yet SAS, Stephen A. Smith, who I don't even know his involvement in anything. I mean, Stephen A. Smith just talks about current events to keep his podcast popping. Ugly Alien, which I think she's talking about Elliott Wilson. Stoute. Dick Breath. I don't know who Dick Breath is. Oh, Dick Breath was, what was that? The guy at the, I don't know who Dick Breath is. She says, etc. All talking about Onika. Why are they talking about Onika? You're a hot topic, man. You're one of the top rappers. You're one of the most successful rappers of all time. People always talk about you. But this crew particularly, I can see, but what involvement does Stephen A. Smith have with Roc Nation or Tidal? Somebody would have to point that out. She says, the first time you catch me in a lie, delete all my music. Okay? One of her fans comes out and says they wanted brunch and baby oil, to which she responds, worried about the tea of a 15-year-old child who was railroaded, but no comments on the tea and baby oil that's been going on for decades and as recent as months ago. Somebody would have to let me know who this 15-year-old child we're talking about. If 15-year-olds need to be held accountable and told they can't ever move past their past, then what about the 30-year-olds who groomed and groomed, sat by and was silent, etc.? Oh, right. Let's keep the blogs focused on Onika. Short and stout dick. Don't want to talk about him friendem. LMFAO. So maybe she's talking about Diddy and Steve Stoute's relationship. Maybe not Jay-Z. Because Jay-Z ain't BFFs with Puff. They hang out in public, but they kind of ain't been tight for a little minute. Steve Stoute, on the other hand, was very intimately involved with Diddy, branding Diddy, helping him become the mogul that he became. They fell out. And then, of course, there was a fight in which Diddy beat the shit out of Steve Stoute. But then eventually they patched up their issues. So I don't know where they stand today, if they're still friends or whatever. Once again, we have more homoerotic claims from Nicki Minaj. She says, undercover men are always aggravated with women because they have decided that they can't live in their truth. Therefore, Women who have done nothing to them are made to pay for simply existing. Fix it, Jesus. Enough is enough. So here we are again. She's calling Steve Stoute an undercover man. And because he can't live in his truth, he's supposed to be mad at her. She keeps it going. Dear short and stout dick. Laffy Taffy alien. Dick breath. Stephen A. Smith. We want to know if you were present during abuse of teenagers and children. That's what we want to know. You can't taste my pootie. Stop. Aaliyah. Foxy. Etc. During R. Kelly video shoots and stuff. Now, Nicki, I'm going to stop here. There's more to it. I've been seeing a lot of people out here trying to say that Jay-Z was grooming Foxy. However, just within the last couple weeks, Foxy Brown has made it her mission. If y'all have missed it, y'all missed it. But Foxy Brown has actually been countering these claims and saying, y'all got to chill. Y'all got to let this shit alone. It's not true. Right? Now, I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what their interactions were. We know Foxy Brown was about 16 when she did Ain't No Nigga. She got those rhymes. She came into the industry at a young age. But I do not know who she was intimate with. And if information is put in front of me, concrete information that says Jay-Z was intimate with Foxy Brown at the tender age of 16, my story would completely change about all of this, right? In terms of Jay-Z, Foxy Brown. But she came out and said, that's cap. Now, she could be protecting him, but far as I know, she's always given Jay-Z credit for holding her down, giving her opportunity. When she went deaf in one of her ears, I believe it was, and she couldn't, because Jay-Z had gave her millions of dollars right before she went deaf, to do an album. She was not able to record the music. Jay-Z was the one who hired all of the specialists and the medical team that helped nurse her back to good health. She's always given him credit. She's always saluted not only Jay-Z, but also Beyonce. She does not hold any animus towards his lady. And I would believe that Nicki Minaj, out of all people, would know and understand that because that's her idol. They've worked together. They have a friendship. So I don't even think Foxy would want to be included in this rant. But here we are. And again, this is not a shot at Nicki Minaj. I do not shoot at Nicki Minaj. I analyze the content that's put in front of me as I do with every single artist. And if you feel like I disagree with Nicki Minaj more than anyone else, that's okay. I believe she dog whistles. I'm not saying she's lying about everything, but when you make these sorts of allegations, you're going to need some proof. And she consistently makes allegations. Give us the proof. That's all I'm saying. She says, did you know about the abuse to Kim Porter and Cassie? Y'all seem to always run in a sort of rat pack. So that's what we, the people, want you and your peeps to speak on. Ugly, bald head, bowling ball bitch. So this is directly at Steve Stoute. You niggas don't have this energy for gangsters in person, only for bitches on the internet. Okay? She says, if any of those 4 cunts I named would like to shoot the fair one with a gangster, I'll run the winner of the fight $10 million. Until then, watch that karma spin. 25 men spoke out on these clowns, only talking about me every single day. That's how I know I win. Okay? One of her fans also comes in and says, Nicki, you finna get us Barb started. And once we start, she says, that's why I tell these people to leave me alone. But no, they rather play. So let's play. So her barbs are threatening to say, hey, you're going to activate us. You're going to make us start getting at these niggas. But when we start, people don't like it. She basically put the sign out there to say, hey, since these niggas want to play, we going to play. Okay? So that's where we are. Let's see what else is on here. I don't think this got nothing to do with what we talking about. Not really. Let me see if there's any more. Okay, so another one of her fans comes and tweets out a stat. It says Nicki Minaj has now surpassed Jay-Z to become the sixth longest charting rapper of all time on Billboard. Her music has charted for 1,945 cumulative weeks across the Hot 100 and Billboard 200, to which she retweets and says, "Move." So we're further perpetuating the competition and displeasure of Nicki Minaj toward Jay-Z in particular. And at the time of recording, I believe that's all. As we are sitting here talking about this, she's now live on Station Head, but I refuse to go listen in on the Station Head with y'all live. Because it's going to take 6 years to get to the point. That's not a shot. That's just the truth. So I may have to come back and update y'all with further context. Because if she actually goes into detail about what her real truth is with Jay-Z and whatever, I will come back. But if it's a bunch of fluff, I'm not going to. You know what I'm saying? But that's where we're at with it, right? Steve Stoute came and said his piece. He didn't like how Nicki Minaj basically came out and tried to trash Jay-Z's name over choosing Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl instead of Wayne in New Orleans, right? He said that there was money on the table that she left on the table for the Tidal deal, that she didn't sign the paperwork. She says, hey, y'all only offered me $1 million. I was supposed to get $9 million. So I guess she said, fuck y'all, rather than accepting her $1 million. That doesn't seem like a sound business practice to me. When you were part of the equity shareholders, you basically turned down what you could get. I understand feeling like you were being lowballed, but she called it hush money. I would love to see if we ever get a lawsuit for that $9 million, because that would be the way to enforce restitution in a legal matter. But all things standing, I do agree with Nicki Minaj on this. If she was entitled to a payment, if she agreed to help launch something, she upheld her end of the deal by releasing music videos, releasing content, and being lockstep with your project, with your new streaming company. And she contributed, and she was entitled to, I don't know, the numbers seem to be conflicting. There's a report of 3%, there's a report of 1.5%. Right? So I don't know what the deal is. There's academics said it was 1%. Right? I don't know. And I don't know what that contract looked like, or what, you know what I'm saying? We have not seen paperwork. So if it was 1%, it would have been $1 million. If it was 3%, it would have been $9 million. Okay? But if whatever that range was and it was not paid, she deserves her money. And whether or not Desiree Perez offered her that contract and said you need to sign it within 24 hours in order to get your payout, I don't think that that's how you conduct business. I don't think that's a sound practice, by rushing somebody to have 24 hours to do legal counsel in order to sign a deal. That's not how stuff goes. So I don't co-sign that. I don't think that's okay. If what she is saying is accurate in that space, I think that was dead ass wrong. Pay the money. Right? And this is typically where I sit with all Nicki Minaj content is, I think that some pieces she's right, and some pieces I'm not going to say that she's wrong, but the way that she handles it and the way that she communicates among her fan base, I don't think it's always the most clear. I don't think it's always the most concise. And for the barbs, I know y'all are probably gonna be in the comments saying, "Nah, we understand every word. We don't gotta decipher nothing." Yeah, of course you understand every word because you're going to believe and roll with every word she says, regardless. And that's your prerogative, and that's cool. Y'all are the fans. Y'all uphold her. That's what y'all do. That's y'all job. I'm not with y'all. So, and I want y'all to be very clear. Look at the content on my channel on a daily basis. I sit here. I take content for what it is. I analyze right or left. It does not matter. Artists that I love put out stuff that I say I don't rock with. Artists that I don't necessarily rock with put out stuff and I say, damn, this surprised me. I fuck with it. They said this or that. My opinion is subject to change about whatever's going on depending on the particular subject at hand. I agree with no one 100% of the time. I may not even agree with my motherfucking self 100% of the time. All right? Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one, all right? Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit on my almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.